the storm is tracking away from us, which is always a good thing, although we did get the brunt of it. So as the 6 a.m. Update reported, we're about, the storm itself, the eye center itself is about 20 miles east of Hilton Head Island. Still winds are 105 miles an hour with moving north-northeast at 12. The central pressure has increased some, so it is going through some weakening. It's about 955 millibars. Based on the forecast, Matthew is expected to make landfall on the South Carolina coast, most likely between Pritchard's Island and Edisto Island early this morning, so that's north of us, heading towards Charleston. Potential ending time is late this evening. For our purposes, I did some calculations and did some model projections for our timing. Sustained winds roughly in this area, so we can start making our way in, which would be about 30-mile-an-hour winds, would be about 2 p.m. So for our plan purposes, if we're looking at rough guess. Keep in mind, obviously, that's still possible. Rain's going to be in that, and localized heavy rainfall as we go through. As far as what the storm did to Hilton Head, the northern eye wall, which is where the strongest of those winds did come across Hilton Head Island. So we could probably look at worst case scenarios. So anything that you've been looking at as far as information that you've been reading, those storm surge inundations, those rainfall totals and things like that, probably on those higher ends area. I did find for Beaufort, I don't know exactly where the observation site was, not necessarily a 24-hour rainfall total. We did it from roughly start of storm 6 p.m. and did some math, and that came to about 11.27 inches of rain, with 5.2 of that coming from just midnight alone.
Steve,
yes.
Do you have a wind speed?
Wind speed for where?
On that eye wall, any readings?
Everything was showing those were where the 105-mile-an-hour winds were. Okay. So we can probably expect those 100 plus mile-an-hour winds along that eye wall. Some specific observations within the last, I'd say, about an hour or so. Hilton Head Airport had a gust of about 85 miles an hour. Tybee Island, this is an independent observation, had a gust of about 93 miles an hour. And over in Beaufort had 83-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So there's still strong tropical storm force winds out there. You do need to be careful. I know we've got some issues going on with the apparatus here and so forth. So obviously we're inland. So we still want to make sure that from a safety standpoint, weather conditions still are unfavorable. So on those tropical storm force winds for that. I'll be happy to entertain any questions or anything else. The next update, you should get a 7 o'clock position update. The next actual update and a report from the National Weather Service Charleston office is going to be about 12 noon to give us some that. We'll get a 11 a.m. Position update for tracking aspects. So.
Anything for Steve?
Thank you.
Outstanding. Steve, do you want to say anything before I work through ops and planning and all that? Or?
All I want to say is good job so far and good luck to all of us.
Right. Ops, you want to kind of talk about what your thoughts are on our plan to move out of here?
Well, I think the engine crews, they're working on a plan, so once we get over and we can get to the island and then call for the crews, and then we'll figure out our convoy this morning based on conversations with the sheriff's office, and we'll get set up in the cars we're going to take back and notify the partners that may go with us.
Outstanding. Julie, anything logistics-wise or anything?
Ed's out there right now checking on some of the ambulances to relocate them over on this side. We're just starting to come up with some list of critical facilities for the generators. Trying to get an order, which will be a group discussion and which ones we need to refill first. Going back.
Good deal. All right, I know we're gonna try to keep our plan section up and running and try to function through. It's gonna be a little fragmented and different today, but Sam, you want to add anything from plans wise? We're gonna continue to try to roll our IAP and keep that going.
We do have the IAP for this period. Not able to print it right now, but we do have one established, and keep your 214s handwritten for now. Keep track of those, and I'm sure we'll be planning some meetings here later in the day as we get more information.
Exactly. Anything else for the good of the group? You guys this point, it's just a matter of waiting for the storm to kind of ease on out of here so we can, one, daylight so we can see what's going on, and two, we can get ourselves ready to go examine the island or re-enter the island and do a damage assessment.
Do we have any information as to what Bluffton's planning on doing?
Not yet. We'll bring them in and make sure that, I assume that once we push back with some type of advanced team, there'll be a lot of folks that wanna come as well. So I assume Bluffton come and some of the public service districts, probably Palmetto Electric's gonna have somebody out there. So I figure it's gonna be a large advanced team once we get rolling.
They plan on hitting the street at the same time as the law enforcement does, and
Is law enforcement stopping public from getting on the island as of yet, or do we have to deal
Yes,
with
we're
them?
waiting for the winds to be 39 or less, so we're gonna wait for the winds to die down first before we start putting people out on the road.
I'm saying, are we gonna fight through people getting on the island too, or?
No, you're gonna have to have your car to be able to do the reentry. Only those people will be allowed. Once it happens.
There's two different answers to that, I think, what you're asking. It's not safe for the sheriff's office to go out there in the middle of the storm. Nobody's out there blocking the traffic now.
Yeah.
They're gonna go out as soon as it's safe. Are there idiots who will beat us to the bridge?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, if the causeway is intact and the bridge is intact,
The Jenkins Causeway?
But that leads to another point, is if there are a lot of idiots and they stack up traffic there.
That was initially my question, is are we gonna fight through that?
No, we'll have a contingency to get everybody off that road. We're gonna make our way in. It's not gonna be a problem.
They have guns.
All right, well, I just want to take a few minutes to get everybody else back up to speed, kind of get regrouped, but now it's just a matter of, we'll figure out the food situation and what they have available over there for us to get hold of this morning, and then once we get some daylight, then we can really start putting ourselves together, and then hopefully their timeline's a little off and we can get out of here a little earlier. All right, anything else for the good of the group before we break? Awesome, thank y'all, and we'll come back together once it gets a little